You are starting this 9-city tour with the remarkable Lady Gaga.
Yes.
How do you choose who you're going to talk to?
Well, I just was going through the list of who are the influencers that have had an impact on our culture. Who are the people whose stories matter to the culture and particularly to other women? And who's going to say yes? As I told you earlier, one of the hardest things for me to do was to ask anybody, because one of the hardest things, I hate asking anybody to do anything for me. That is one of my things. I don't like asking people to do things for me. So when I called Gaga and asked her, would she do it? And I was like, I really hate to ask you this. And, it's January 4th. And she said yes immediately, thank goodness. Because if she had said, well, I don't know, I probably would have just said, okay, it's okay. So I'm honored to have her because she is so well-spoken about the things that really matter, about being born the way you are, accepting who you are, accepting you with all of your flaws, all of your faults. I'm sure we'll get into a really deep discussion here about mental illness and how that's affected her and her willingness. You just need people who are willing to actually be on stage. You know this, Jenna. You got to be on stage. You got to tell the truth. You got to be yourself, but you also got to have a little entertainment there too,
And she'll bring that.
Right, because people are coming to also be entertained.
You are talking so much about mental illness right now, which is so important. There's a stigma really across our world.
Yeah.
And you, the queen of daytime, are teaming up with the prince from the UK.
Yes.
How did this partnership come about?
It came about because we were having a discussion about what are the things that really matter to you in the world. And I had asked Prince Harry that, and he said climate change and mental wellness. And I went, oh, gee, me too. And so from there, the conversation went to, I said, I'm doing this thing for Apple. And when I finished the conversation, he said, oh, if you ever need any help with that Apple thing. I went, and Gail was standing there. She goes, duh, did you hear that? Do you ever need any help? I go, actually, I do. So, because would I have asked him? Probably not. But he said, oh, if you ever need any help with that Apple thing you're doing. So that's how that came about.
And what is that like? I mean, to work on something that we talk about cancer, we talk about diseases that affect us. But really,
the thing is getting people to open up and not just talk about it, but to reveal themselves in such a way that the audience gets to see themselves in the people who are sharing their stories. That's what I'm looking for. And that's why this is so important to me, because for 25 years, I never missed a show for a day. I came in sick every time I was sick. I came in because I knew people had come from around the country to be in that audience. And I knew they'd rather see me sick than to hear that I was sick. So I would do the show, and then people would say, oh, go home and take care of yourself. Because, people have come. They've come with their mothers and their cousins and their aunts and their girlfriends. They don't want, they've gotten their nails polished and their hair done. They don't want to hear, Jenna's not here today. Yeah. They don't want to hear that. Yeah. Right. So I showed up because it was important for me to be there for the audience, because the audience was there for me all those years. And this is a way of continuing to reconnect and to build connection with people in a way that I feel is meaningful, because I think there's nothing more important than realizing the power of your own potential. And I have this incredible life. I have this amazing opportunity to share what I've learned with other people. And I'm just taking what I know and passing it on.
What's so cool is that you're going to have an audience of 15,000 plus all across our country.
Yeah.
And what do you hope to learn from them? I read something where you thought maybe the 2016 election wouldn't have been as big of a surprise if I had been doing my show.
Well, I certainly would have been more in contact. I was sitting in Santa Barbara doing what I'm doing. I certainly would have been more connected to understanding the vibe of the country, because the thing that happens so beautifully every day on our show is the same thing that happens on the Today Show every morning. When people are waving outside, they are from every state in the union. They're not the blue states or the red states or the purple states. They're just people who've come to be a part of that experience. And the same thing is true for all those years of our show. I know that particularly the time that I spent after the show talking to people. For so many years, all the shows were really based on what women were telling us after the show, was important for them to hear. Like women kept saying around the 90s, you know, I need more. I did all the stuff that I was supposed to do. I followed the rules. And is this all there is? I mean, is there something more? So we started building our show ideas around what people were telling us, because me talking to the audience every day was like my own focus group. I mean, for years.
That is one of the things that our country is so divided. And what you're just talking about, this show where there are people from all over sitting together, different people sitting next to each other.
But you know, the common denominator in the human experience is if you ask everybody, regardless of what state they're from, blue, red, purple, they all really want the same thing. Everybody wants health, because I'm telling you, if you don't have that, you don't have anything. So everybody wants good health. They want the ability to earn a good, decent living so that they can take care of their families. They want to have prosperity. They want to be able to pass that on to their children. And they want to be able to live a life that feels vibrant and meaningful to them. So for me, this tour is about connecting people to the ideas that really matter most to them so that they can hone in on that for themselves and also begin to share it with other people, their family, their community, and pass it on. That's the goal, pass it on.
One of the things, though, that I think the show did so well was bring people together.
Yeah, it did.
You bring people together. You do.
Yeah.
And
it was a habit every day at 4 o'clock.
Yes.
People from all around the country.
I remember being in Austin, Texas, and at University of Texas, turning it on when I got
every
back
day
from
4 o'clock.
Yeah, in my apartment on San Jacinto. I remember it.
Yeah.
But it brought people together. And in a time when things are divisive, do you miss it? Do you miss that opportunity?
Yeah, I actually do miss the opportunity to bring people together and to get people to hear with an ear of discernment, because I think that there is so much literally chaotic information being passed on every day, and people don't even know how to discern what is right, what is wrong, what is the truth, what is not, what is fake, what is real. So I miss the opportunity to help people with their own level of discernment, you know, to being the person to be able to say, oh, maybe this will work, or this will work, or maybe you need to hear this differently. Maybe what I learned in all of these years is that all of us are looking for the same level of, did you hear me? Everybody just wants to know that they were heard and that what they said meant something. So,
but that doesn't mean you're going to have a reboot.
No,
you know, reboots
doesn't
are
mean
in.
that there's a reboot. Doesn't mean
Reboots
that
are
there's a
in.
reboot. It just means that I'm looking for other opportunities.
Like this.
Other opportunities to express that. Yeah.
You probably don't know this, and I know you hear this from strangers on the street every day, but like my grandmother and my mother, you really inspired my love of reading, and you inspired me to start a book club.
Did I inspire you?
You and my grandma. I mean, God rest her soul.
I know. I loved your grandma.
She loved you.
Yeah.
But you inspired me, and I wonder, what's your favorite thing about reading?
Oh, girl. There just isn't anything better for me. I feel like you don't need a lot of money. You don't even need a fancy place to live. You can be transported to any place in the world through the opportunity of opening a book. I mean, I just love the idea of sitting in one of my coziest places is like sitting in the nook in the window and the fire and the dogs are at my feet and all that.
I want to be there. Remember when we said come to our house? I changed my mind.
But that's one of my favorite things, is just like literally, I mean, I live the picture. I actually live the picture. And to be curled up with a book and to know that you have at least 400 pages left.
If you love it.
If you love it. Oh my God, it's the greatest. Just the greatest.
I actually, preparing for this, I looked back at a clip of my grandmother in 1989 on your show.
On the show. Was she wearing, I was wearing the blue in the suit?
Yes.
Well,
you were wearing the blue kind of suit too.
Yes.
Suits were big in the 80s. And you said, you asked her about preparing to be First Lady, and she quoted you. She said, I quote you a lot. I have blessings. I hope I quote this right, because she would be embarrassed. I have my blessings, but I make my blessings.
Yeah.
Is that did I quote it right?
Something like that.
Hold on, let me make sure.
Something like that.
Hold on, here she said, I'm blessed. So she quoted you saying, I'm blessed, but I make my blessings.
Yeah, I do feel that. I feel that each of us has an opportunity. You know, one of the things that impressed me when I was a young reader, I think I learned the Invictus poem when I was about 8 years old. And, the last lines of that poem are, I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. Now, I was 8 years old reciting that. I didn't know what that meant. But this idea that you are in charge of creating your life and you are the master of whatever blessings and abundance come to you, that has been something that sort of has been a part of my upbringing and a part of my belief system that allows me to be who I am in the world. I believe that you create, I create, and that your own thoughts and your ideas and beliefs about your values is what brings your life into real focus for yourself. And I'm just trying to get people to do that for themselves.
You talked to this morning about manifesting. I feel like I've
you
followed you.
Yes.
And I mean, I really was. My New Year's resolution was to be reconnected with you.
Well,
3 days into the year, I'm staying here.
It happened. Do you know? And so just think of this, Jenna. That is just a simple little thought that you didn't put a whole lot of energy into, because that's what you have to do when you really want something to happen. You don't like, I want it, I want it, I want it, and push against it and resist it. You just kind of put it out there, and then you let it come to you. And that's what happened. Then our producer called and all of that happened. I believe that is happening all of the time. And anybody who's watching us right now, you can see it. Oh, I'm thinking about a bowl of soup. And then, oh my God, a friend shows up and they bring you some soup for lunch or whatever. That's happened to me many times. But those little ways and ideas that seem like coincidences are really not. I think we each get to be in control of our destiny because we live in one of the best places in the world where you get free will. You get to have your free will and do that.
So it's a new decade. When you're thinking about what you want for yourself in the next 10 years, what do you see?
I actually don't have, I live this physical existence that I literally sometimes think I'm living inside a painting. I look out my bedroom window and I'm facing the ocean and the backside faces the back. I think I'm inside a painting. So physically, I want for nothing. For my life, I continue to seek meaning and purpose and to move through the world with a sense of intention that allows me to only act out of whatever is purposeful for me.
Awesome. Okay, this is a quick fire, and then I'm going to let you go because I know you're worn to a frazzle.
Here we are.
Okay, proudest accomplishment.
Proudest accomplishment is that after all these years of being known as a public figure, I feel that my feet are still on the ground. I'm just wearing better shoes. I feel like I am as grounded as I was the first day I started AM Chicago in Chicago. Actually, even more grounded. So my proudest accomplishment is that in spite of all the things that I've seen and all the things I've accomplished and all the things that I've acquired, I still feel completely spiritually centered. Proudest accomplishment.
Where and when are you the most joyful?
Ooh! Walking in the woods with my dogs when there's a little crisp chill in the air and the wind is blowing and the leaves are rubbing together and the wind feels like rain.
Again, I'm coming to your house.